Hello and welcome to Triangle BNI. Today's show is brought to you by Oak City Tech. Oak City Tech gives their clients an edge over their competition with web and logo design that make them stand out. They increase brand awareness, generate leads with SEO and social media presence, then convert them into leads to help you grow your business. Founded in Raleigh in 2009, Oak City Tech works with businesses, organizations, and brands around the country. Go to oakcitytech.com to see how they can help you grow your business. Tell Drago that we said hi. Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Manning, and each week we bring you small business success stories from BNI. BNI is Business Networking International in the Triangle here, Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. If you're not familiar with North Carolina, we've got 30 chapters going. 600 people meet each week. We all help each other grow our business. Our guest today is Chris Thurow. Chris is a property and casualty specialist at Metlife. Chris, glad to have you here today.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Chris flew in from Tampa this morning, so he's wired, ready to go. 4 cups of coffee on the plane, sitting in line for 2 hours at the airport, right?
Actually, no coffee. No coffee
Oh,
yet.
really?
Yes.
Impressive.
I know. That's...
Will the hit come later about 1:30 or 2 o'clock? Chris is in RD 29. The name of the chapter is Vis-a-Vis. They meet Thursday mornings at 7:30 at Hope Community Church on Buck Jones Road in Raleigh. If you are a morning person, this is a wonderful chapter to be in. If you're not a morning person, this is a wonderful chapter to be in because the crowd is rather entertaining.
Yes.
They do good business together, but a lot of the folks there have known each other a while, so they will wake you up on a Thursday morning. You are vice president there.
I am.
Renewed role for October 1 coming on.
That's correct.
That tells me you're good with numbers, or you weren't at the meeting when they said we need a vice president, right?
I like the numbers.
There you go. Insurance. We all think we know what we need, what we have, why we need it. Property and casualty is your wheelhouse. The research I did on this show, not as many people as I thought had insurance, especially auto insurance.
Right.
They're rolling the dice, right? If you don't have auto insurance.
Yes. So the stats are out there. A lot of people do not have coverage at all, or even adequate coverage.
I saw 1 in 8.
Yes.
The problem that we don't think about, and it took me years to learn this as well, is if I'm driving without insurance, you're going to have to be properly covered just to take care of your own stuff that I wrecked without having insurance.
Exactly. That's why you need to review your coverages.
And you do that. And one of the neat things about BNI is we get to know you as Chris. Yes, you work for Metlife. But you're Chris. We have your cell phone number. We can call at any point in time. And there's a reason why certain jobs like that, you want to know the person. So I can call you, you know my history. I know you've gotten calls late at night and on weekends, right?
Right.
Hey, Chris, quick question. Just asking for a friend. How often does your phone ring after hours?
I've gotten lucky in the industry. I haven't had any really huge claims. I think most of my after-hour calls are my realtors wanting quotes.
Okay.
That's what I'm here for.
Okay. We picture back in the day, I think Ward Cleaver was in insurance.
Okay.
Suit and tie, going to work every day. And that's not your world these days. You are a marketer as much as you are an insurance person, right?
I believe so, yeah. I'm working 24/7 on the marketing.
Do you like that side of it?
I do. That's what I enjoy doing the most. I like going out, meeting new people, helping other people build their businesses, in turn, reaping the benefits of that.
You are, in BNI, we stay each week, each person stands up, and depending on the size of the group, it's 30 seconds, 45 seconds, or 60 seconds on your speech. And a lot of people stand up and tell what they do,
Right.
which is good because we need to know that. I've just always thought anybody on the insurance side, you're providing peace of mind.
Exactly.
And you've got auto, home, life. What else can you write for anybody listening?
A quick story, umbrellas.
Yes.
I've always told people with an umbrella, you need to have assets, or you want to protect your assets with an umbrella. I recently ran into someone that was low income, had 2 jobs, had decent coverage at a different company, 100, 300, but his wife hit someone, hurt him pretty bad, and the hospital bills are well over $300,000 for one person. So he's hoping the attorney can get it under 300, but he's still going to have to owe over 200,000, which he says I don't have that. Well, they're going to garnish his wages. So most umbrellas are going to cost you about $5 a week. You can avoid that. So it's not really protecting your assets now; it's protecting everything. So
What all does the umbrella cover?
liability. So I mean, if you're at fault at that wreck,
Yep.
if you ran a red light, as long as it's not neglect, umbrellas can cover from dog bites on your property or a dog got out,
Oh,
trampoline in your backyard.
okay.
As long as all this is documented,
Yeah.
those kind of accidents. Someone slips and falls in your house, breaks a leg, you only have 300 in liability. It can cover the excess of that as well.
Is that the maximum amount for an umbrella?
Oh no, umbrellas can go, a few million.
Okay.
Yes. Typical people start with the million and work their way up.
So for everyday me and you, normal stuff, normal size house, normal family.
Yeah, I mean, start with a million. I'm not gonna say that,
Yeah. Oh, sure.
write it. But yeah, at least have the coverage, to protect yourself for minimal amounts. So
In the million cover, how much a month is roughly a $1 million policy for somebody?
$4 to $6.
Okay. And that's on top of once their regular insurance, whatever that is, covers. And then for example, in the house, you have homeowners insurance. Somebody comes on your property through your fault, or does it have to be negligence on, let's say they fall off your back deck,
Right.
Neighborhood party, everybody's having a good time grilling out some burgers,
Right.
Maybe a beer or two, but nothing major. And somebody falls off your deck.
Right.
Are you the homeowner responsible for that?
Yes. It's your home.
Even if they did something stupid?
Well, I mean, if it's blatant neglect and, your attorney can prove that,
Okay.
They did that on purpose to sue you. Once again, that's going to be,
Mhm.
decided in the court of law. And
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
So would the homeowners pay that first and then the umbrella comes after that, or does it go straight to the umbrella?
Yeah, generally your homeowner's going to get the first limit of your liability on your homeowners, 100, 300,000 will cover, and then the umbrella will satisfy whatever judgment's left.
Would $1 million cover most of the cases you've seen?
Cases I've seen, yes. Personally, there's cases every day. I mean,
Oh,
when
yeah.
you have, accidents happen with fatalities,
Yep.
and $1 million's not going to replace somebody. So, especially if you're found at fault, it's gonna be over that.
If let's say the judgment's 1.5 and all you've got is $1 million
Right.
in coverage, so that extra $500,000, they're just going to garnish wages until it's paid up?
Correct. So,
Wow.
if you have assets, they'll go after your assets.
Okay.
They'll go after that first, but yes, they will garnish your wages in North Carolina.
Does the umbrella cover if you've got a beach house?
Right.
Is that I guess nothing's off limits if you're at fault.
Right.
So they'll go then to the beach house, maybe force you to sell it?
They could.
Ooh.
But if you had the umbrella, it could help protect once again, it's there to protect your assets.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why you have it.
Or in the insurance world, how many of us are smart enough to have an umbrella? Tiny?
No, honestly, there's a lot of good agents out there. A lot of
Yeah.
my competition, good agents out there. When we're discussing their insurance needs, going over everything, we're telling people about this, and people understand. Really, they understand the importance of coverages with higher liabilities on homeowners and auto and the umbrella. So people are understanding what they need.
What I've learned over the years with insurance, either auto or home, is when there's a life change, new baby, new car. And I know you love when you check up on your clients and, just calling, hey, Chris, checking in again, got this coming up, whatever it is.
Right.
And they go, oh, yeah, we bought a new car 3 months ago and didn't tell you.
Right.
Or sold one.
Right.
And they're still and didn't tell you, and they're still paying for that.
Right.
We're not good at that, are we?
No. It's funny. I've got a current new client, and he's been very on top of it. So when you brought that up, but he's got a special order BMW, so I know exactly when it's going to arrive.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
close to when
in
it's gonna
theory,
arrive.
okay.
So right now he sold one BMW, but we're waiting on the new one to come. So
Right.
I'll get the call in the next, week or so that it's here.
Do you get a ride in that to lunch?
It's gonna be a nice one, so I hope so.
We probably don't think things that should be covered need to be covered around the house. I know homeowners means a lot of things to a lot of people, but what all is involved in what some things that might cover?
It covers more than you would think. That good point is if you're looking about your homeowners, take a video. Take your phone, walk around your house, video every single thing because you might have things jotted down, but when a storm comes, those notepads get destroyed. You forget
Yeah.
things. So
And I know you've talked about that before is just personal property. And I think the discussion you were talking about one day was jewelry.
exactly.
And it was just so simple. You said just videotape it so you have it.
Right.
And most of us,
And
we
most
don't do
there's actually a few different policies in North Carolina, HO3s, HE7s. So different policies only allow you to have up to a certain amount. Jewelry, 1,500. Most people are sitting on those type of homeowners policies. So you do need to schedule those or even get other policies for
Okay.
those. The jewelries, the golf clubs, the guns, any type of high value collectible. Or really need to think about making sure that that is covered properly.
And we're not talking a lot of
No,
money to
no,
do that.
no.
And I guess maybe I wonder if that's one of the hesitations, people, if somebody's got a $50,000 wedding ring, like, well, I couldn't afford to cover it. And really they could if they called you
Exactly.
and you could walk them through and it's
Right.
what, $5 a month, maybe more.
50,000 is gonna look more like 10,
Okay.
12 bucks, but
Okay. But again,
exactly.
you're paying $144 a year to cover 50,000.
Right.
I like when life comes down to simple math equations. Like,
Exactly.
okay, let's go
Yeah,
ahead and
it's
do
not
this.
good. Yeah. It's like when you finance a new house. I mean, am I gonna add the screen porch in and finance it
Yeah.
in? You're just adding another piece to the homeowner.
Yeah.
So,
One of the favorite questions, I've not had this happen, but it's the neighbor's tree that falls on your
I
house.
have no comment.
I love that. Okay, by law, how does that break out? Your personal opinions aside, by law, how does that break out?
I don't
I
it depends. It
If
really
your tree falls on my house, I had nothing to do with it. I've got to replace my insurance covers my own roof, or can I take you to court and sue you because you got 2 Bentleys in the driveway?
it's once again, it's on the neglect.
Okay,
Yeah, so if the tree fell and it was a perfectly good tree, it's gonna be on your
okay.
if the tree was sitting there rotting and you've
Okay,
made notes of this tree rotting, you asked the neighbor and you've documented that you've asked the neighbor,
perfect.
you can actually, yeah, you can go after them.
Okay,
So
right.
it's once again, it's neglect. That's who you're gonna find out. So
So you can cover yourself if we're neighbors and you've got a dead tree leaning over our common fence,
right,
and I documented 2 times I went over there to ask you, "Are you gonna do anything about
right.
it?"
Take
I've done
pictures.
everything I need to do, right?
Pictures.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, if the tree's rotten,
yeah,
your neighbor is now performing neglect.
okay.
So
Alright, good.
yeah,
But it's stuff like that we don't think about, but I just love that story
yeah.
because it happens enough. It
It
thankfully hadn't
does,
happened to
it
me,
does, and
but
then some neighbors you never talk to again. I mean, it just
yes. You are from Florida, but you weren't doing insurance in Florida.
no,
You were financial, right, at the time. Those policies are completely different. Well, not completely different, but considerably different from North Carolina just because the hurricanes and more flooding at least.
right.
Those can't be a lot of fun to write. But you get the calls. Actually, I saw you. I saw you a couple weeks ago. It was the day before, I forget the hurricane name that was headed towards the coast.
Right.
And you would say, I asked you, when's the cutoff date?
Right.
And there is.
Generally,
And who sets that when you can't buy any more insurance?
the companies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when a storm comes, we can go on moratorium, stop writing. Good thing this storm, a lot of my competitors stopped writing about 7 days before the storm. We actually never stopped in Wake County.
Really?
So we wrote all the way through this last storm. So
I didn't think that thing was even, it was coming near us, but I don't think it was ever supposed to come much inland. I knew we
right.
were going to get some wind and rain, but
It's the cone, the whole,
okay.
with I mean, underwriters know what they're doing. And risk adjusters.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Everyone knows if they're within that cone, they're not going to
Okay.
take it.
We are here with Chris Thurow, a property and casualty specialist with Metlife Insurance. Today's show is brought to you by Oak City Tech, where we help you reach your goals with proven technologies for increasing traffic, leads, and sales. Go to oakcity.com, send Drago a note, tell him we said hi. He will help your business grow. Here we are towards the end of September. So now we're looking at fall and winter, ice storms, snowstorms, all that stuff. What should people be looking at as far as their coverage goes for winter weather now?
I mean, it's the same in the summer. Just make sure you have the correct coverages, but then watch your stuff. I mean, when it freezes outside, watch your pipes.
Okay.
Make sure your personal property, your personal equipment is in the top shape. 'Cause that's generally, if pipe bursts, you flood water, then we call Chris.
Yeah.
But that's where
Dowdell, I'm with you now.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
That's another reason why people should have an agent. If not with me,
Yes.
with my competition. If you have a good agent, you have their cell number.
Mhm.
Because a water pipe bust might not be worth your $1,000 or $2,500 deductible. And that's why a good agent has a good restoration company like Chris Dowdell.
Yep.
I can call him most of the time and sometimes save the customer a claim
Okay.
or deductible.
That was actually one of the questions I have. So that's a great lead into it. Our assumption is we call the insurance 1-800 number. And that's not, you've explained this to me numerous times. That's not necessarily that's not your recommendation.
Right.
I come home, my house, I was gone this weekend. So I come home Sunday night, my house, there's water on the floor, standing water on the floor, open the front door. Here comes the water coming out. Who should I call first? My insurance person?
If you feel comfortable, that's why we're there. That's what we
Right.
make the money for. Realistically, if you have a good restoration company, I know you're well
Okay.
connected, I would call the restoration company.
Okay.
Some local news channels even did, because one of our on your side type people
Mhm.
had 2 claims. One was a $0 claim. And if you do call the insurance company first and then you do it on your own, it's 99% of the time you're going to get what's called a $0 claim, which we're going to end up rating you on. So,
And that's another question I have. We're going to come back to that in a second. But a lot of times, so if there's water on my floor and I call Chris Dowdell, service master, and he comes out and says, here's what they clean it up, they get the house dried and everything, and then they give me an estimate of what it's going to be. And if that estimate's $2,000, but my coverage is close to that, and you may or may not be able to say this, but it would make sense for me to pay the $2,000 out of pocket to save for that. Let me say this, okay? In my mind, I would pay the $2,000 out of pocket to save for the big emergency one day. It's going to cost $15,000. And that's when, in my mind, I would want my insurance to kick in.
Right.
You mentioned the $0 claims. So I come home, there's something minor that happened in my house. And I call the 1-800 number of whoever my insurance is. And they come out. Somebody would come out. How do we get to the $0
so
claim?
I've heard some companies, once you call, it's activated.
Okay.
Sometimes once the adjuster comes out.
All right.
So the biggest story, and no company names or anything,
No.
but the storm chasers will run after the reputable roofing companies and tell you that all these roofs were replaced because of hail. And a lot of times when an insurance company adjuster comes out and they say, well, you've only got this panel of damage, and then the company wants to replace a 8x12 sheet of plywood, and then you've got this patch. So that's an
Okay.
example of a $0 claim, because a lot of people, they don't want an 8x12 brand new patch of shingles
No.
showing the rest of their roof.
No,
So,
I do not want that. Yeah.
and there's a lot of companies that have had to resort to that because of these storm chasers taking advantage of hailstorms.
Oh, and there's plenty of those.
Yes.
Plenty of those. If you see a mailbox hanger after a hailstorm, you do whatever you want. Our advice is just rip it up. Call somebody you know and trust. Call somebody like Chris. But you are as much an educator as you are as a policy writer.
Yes.
Because so a hailstorm comes through. and you would want to talk your client through their options.
Yes. Yeah. And I you know, 15 years as a financial advisor, I was a fiduciary,
Mm.
and I feel the same way in the insurance business. I mean, I'm not considered a fiduciary, I'm considered an agent, but I want to help inform people, help
Mhm.
them through, the tough times that they're going to have.
And most of us have rarely ever filed a claim, I would say. So we don't know when, what, how, and why, or the ramifications of that claim. So a lot of times we just give me the option. I know me, just give me my options and what you would recommend. But a lot of times we don't. I would have never known till about 5 or 6 years ago, till I got into BNI, started meeting some PNC people like yourself. What I'd never heard of a $0 claim. And my first thought would be, oh, here's my insurance. I'll call the 1-800 number.
I tell you, between the $0 claim and then the Matthew,
Yeah.
once again, people with lower price insurance or just calling the 1-800 number, people were calling, and my former company, we had thousands of spoilage claims. So what that means is the refrigerator, the power went out.
Mhm.
So they're doing a claim for $200, $300.
Yeah.
So you have a $0 claim and then you have a $300 claim. That's two. You're going to have over half the companies not want to write you
Just over that
because
number.
two claims. It doesn't matter.
Oh.
Yeah. Once you get two claims,
Okay.
it starts popping up in systems. Some companies are really buckling down on one large claim. So it's just, if you have a spoilage, I know it's been bad. The power's been out. Call your agent. Talk to them a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get $200 worth of free groceries. But
Oh, at the end of the
end of the
day.
day, it's
And again, like I said earlier, I'm banking on that big,
right.
the house is
Right.
burned.
And I understand. I get this thrown back in my face. Well, I pay for insurance. I'm going to use it. I understand that. You are
Mhm.
paying for the insurance. Use it when it's 100%.
Yes. Oh, I agree on that. Yeah. Go ahead. Okay. I know when the
I
microphone
was
comes down,
I
you
was
have hit
just
on something good.
no, I was just wondering, in a car, there is liability,
Yes, sir.
comprehensive, and then there's collision.
Right.
I don't know how it is today, but comprehensive, when you have a claim, it doesn't raise your, or does it? Because I remember it didn't. So
There's people that abuse it.
yeah, I understand.
So
But if
generally, it shouldn't. But there's
so if you drove and a truck threw a rock and broke your windshield,
right,
and you claim that,
right,
then your insurance, your premium normally doesn't go up.
majority of the time.
Is there something like this in homeowners, that there are certain claims that do not bring it up and people don't use it?
Not in North Carolina. I mean, in North
Okay.
Carolina, like we said, the $0 claim or the $500, $200 food spoilages. I mean, you look at some of these claims, you're like, why didn't you just awesome.
Yep.
So yeah. But we do quotes all the time, and people, I mean, you get some people that think a new windshield is I mean, they're allowed to get one every year, and you
Really?
and insurance companies see that, and they're gonna get rated. I mean, it's
Yeah.
but can I go back to the license one?
Yes,
So
please.
this is why you need to check your limits. So the people that, what was it, 7 out of 10 or 7% don't have insurance.
1 out of 8.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1 out of 8.
So 12. Yeah.
That's why you need to check your coverages, because you're uninsured, underinsured people. That's where your liabilities will be higher. Because I mean, lots life PD. Almost everybody they pull over. But away from that, North Carolina, we're not a computer-based insurance system. So at my old firm, we would get calls, 3-4 calls a day. People will pay for that 1 month of insurance, get their insurance card, which says they have insurance for the next 6 months, and disappear. So now for 5 months, they can get pulled over, show a card, and be fine. And then when that 6 months is over, they shop again. And it's a vicious cycle, because you see they've been at a different carrier every 6 months. They'll pay the high first month premium, but then they disappear and they don't have it for 5 months. That's why I tell people you have to have the adequate coverage just to protect your family, not really liability. If you get sued, I mean, you've got to have that when you're looking at your insurance coverage, just picture what you want for your family.
All right, a couple things here to unpack for me. One is this is my home state. I love this state, but there's no computer system that you could pull up immediately to show.
Not for the police. Now the DOT, they'll find. I mean, we get FS1s all the time, which means we have to send them that they had, proof of liability.
Yeah.
Just another archaic system. Sorry,
No,
but no, the sheriff or police officer, troopers, they just want to see the paper card. They really don't have it in the system.
which is why they ask you for your license. Well, no, they just ask you for your license and registration. And they, yeah, yeah, but so they can't, when they pull that over, they got information on the license plate, which tells them in theory who owns the car,
Right.
which tells them in theory who's driving it, right? But the insurance, they don't.
You don't pay your insurance.
We'll report it.
No, DOT will know right away, and they send you something. Say, hey,
Yeah, the DMV,
your
right?
plate is no good.
Right.
But so the policeman would know.
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't correspond that way.
Really?
Yeah.
The other part of this is I'm intrigued. I don't.
They like to shop because, I mean, they're not going to go to jail for no insurance with that card. I mean, they've got the card.
They'll just get a ticket for
Yeah.
driving without
And
insurance.
and Apex Police, amazing. I've had them actually call twice my old office
Really?
because the person didn't have a card. They promised they had coverage. Apex policeman. Okay, well, let's call. And
Nice.
yes, and
Yeah.
we've got 2 people out of trouble those ways. So
Did you sign them right there?
Huh?
Did you sign them up right there?
No, they're actually existing.
Oh, they were?
Yeah, yeah. So,
And what happens when somebody comes to you who's pulling that trick? Do you, as an insurance agent, have the data online that you can say, oh, look, they hopped and hopped and hopped and hopped? Can you call the last insurance company and say, did they? I mean, do you do that?
you can.
But you don't.
So
I mean,
my old position was a numbers game. My current position's more I'm looking for quality customers. So no, our old position, we would see it. We knew it was coming. We knew that they were going to lapse. Everything was just going to go away. So it's pretty blatant when you've been in the business for a while. It's going to happen. I mean, because the other companies, they'll have the records. I mean, look at their insurance report, and they paid on the 13th. Their policy lapsed on the 20th, and then that was January, and now we're in June, and they're buying again.
So if I come to you tomorrow, you could pull up and find out who I've had insurance with and for how long.
Yeah.
So those red flags are immediate if you see 6 months, a year, stuff like that. I don't condone what they do, but I'm very intrigued by the people who try to beat the system. Very impressed by that. Use their powers for good. That would be nice. But it's a shell game. They're just gambling that they're not going to get pulled over. And if they do, they can just say, I've got.
Right. And that's where it comes back to you having adequate coverage.
Can you be overcovered as a driver?
Yeah. I mean,
I've got a 2006 Toyota Camry.
Right.
Does everything I need,
Right.
which is just drive around town with good gas mileage.
right. I mean, if you don't want the car replaced, you can drop the collision. But once
Okay.
again, you drop the collision, you're going to lose other coverages. So it's really, I mean, I know you've got a
Grandson. Yep.
And I mean, that's where it comes back to, can I be overinsured? I mean, what if
Yeah.
he could never walk again
Yeah.
in an accident? I mean,
That's
you're
true.
going to want him to be taken care of for 70, 80 years.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone hit you and pulled off and had no insurance coverage,
Yeah.
it's on
Okay.
yours. So,
I got you.
it's hard to say. Can I have too much?
You can be, and I get that.
Yeah.
I don't need the coverage your friend with the new BMW coming out for
Right.
my 06 Toyota
Exactly,
Camry,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, I got you on that.
but it's also sued.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
They can
we,
sue you for 10 million.
yeah, and we don't think of that.
Right.
We don't think of that part of it. We just figure, oh, we'll swap insurance card. My insurance company will repair, replace whatever your car, and we'll just move on with it. And
Right.
sometimes there's
Yeah.
way more to it.
First week I moved up here, friend of mine from Florida riding a bike um, on NC State property, and he rode right out in front of a car hit him, killed him.
Oh,
Good thing for that car, they weren't at fault,
yeah.
but it's one of those things. You never know what's going to happen.
And I hate to ask this question, but I believe it's true. There's a price on body parts and accidents and illnesses and everything. There kind of is, isn't there? But there
Um,
kind of needs to be,
yeah,
in a weird way.
right.
Oh, yeah. So covered correctly is what you want to be, but you get that by knowing your agent and staying in touch with
Correct.
them, and especially if there's any changes.
Right.
Okay. All right.
And do a review. If you're going to do a
Yep.
review with your financial advisor, do a review with your insurance agent.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, there's some other agents that have to sell other products. I can be bombarded by that, but still, if you've been with your agent for a long time, go in there and just sit with them for 5-10 minutes and review it. It's not-
Because it doesn't take long.
Exactly.
I mean, a 2006 is a 2006,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Run through the line items, make sure nothing's changed.
Yeah.
And
It all works for me. It's,
oh, Mike, you got a 2016 now.
yeah, exactly. I leak a little oil right now in the driveway, but you know what? I can fix that pretty quick. So we are here with Chris Thurow, Metlife Insurance. He's a property and casualty specialist. Today's show is brought to you by Oak City Tech. They give their clients an edge over the competition with their web and logo design. It will make you stand out. They also will help you generate leads with SEO and social media presence. They will help you grow your business. Go to oakcitytech.com, send him a note, tell Drago we said hi. He will help you grow your business. Now, one of the common myths of the insurance world is you're playing golf all the time. That being said, I say that to say this. People who don't play golf don't know the value of 4 hours with a client.
Right.
And then they go, but you could have done that in 12 minutes. Like, yeah, but you meet somebody that could lead you to 15 or 20 clients. Yeah, so I'm going to go play golf. But you enjoy golf. You played golf. How's the new Drive Shack? You been out there?
Once.
Okay.
Once, yes.
All right. How'd you do?
I did good. The bad thing is I was there during one of the VIP
Yep.
parties, and I was in a bay right next to a long drive champion.
Oh.
So this guy was actually if you've been to Drive Shack,
Yep.
he was hitting it over the back net.
Yeah.
So
Into oncoming traffic on.
I think there's houses back there.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I
So,
don't live there.
Yeah.
Maybe you should go knock on those
I'm
doors.
barely hitting the net, and this guy he's flying the net.
You could get some new clients, go knock on the doors. There's a long driving champion who's hitting over the fence the other day. I heard he's coming back next Wednesday. But golf is important to you. How's your game these days?
It's taken a hit. I mean, I lived in Florida. I played
Yeah.
50 weeks out of the.
I did the same thing. I did the same.
And it was actually more important as an advisor. I mean, that's
Yeah.
where I met
Huge.
majority of my clients. I actually met my wife
Yep.
from golf. So it's
Right.
just yeah.
Well, and that leads me, actually, you're pretty good today. You're pretty good. That was the next line item here, talking about family. I always ask people, wife and 3 kids, and we'll get to the specifics here in a second, but I always ask people, how'd you meet your spouse?
Right.
And you both tell the story the same way.
Yeah.
All right. Tell us your story.
I was going after her dad's money, and I got his debt. Not. I was.
Was that in the wedding vows?
Yeah, no,
Jokingly.
exactly. Jokingly. Nah. I was in a Thursday morning retirement league, and I just kept going back, and she moved from Baltimore.
Who is
was in-
she?
Oh, Dana.
There you go.
Very important.
Hi, Dana.
Yes. She moved from Baltimore, and she was in the Friday night league with mostly the women. It was a mixed league, and it's funny because the women put her on a blind date, and it went totally bad. So then, a week later, the guys, old guys, say, "Hey, you should go out with this guy." And she's like, no. I just moved here, and no. So after about 4 calls, she finally answered the phone, and we hit it off. So.
Would she explain it the same way?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, I should tell you probably a little bit more about my message because my last call was during Hurricane Katrina, and
Ooh.
yeah, my message was, I'm a little bit bored. There's really nothing to do right now. It kind of went on like that.
So she wouldn't say it was after my.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you were. Did you end up getting Dad's account?
Nope. I no, actually, if your Facebook friends me, you saw I was with my grandfather.
Mhm.
I never financially did business with family or real close friends.
Yep. Oh, so
But-
once you started dating her, you called it off,
Totally dropped it.
chasing the old man.
Yeah, I think I got a
Nice.
little bit of respect.
Oh yeah.
He's former Marine. Saw him this
Okay.
weekend too.
All right.
Yeah, just once. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Now I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
but-
if you want to keep friends and family, just
See, you should tell this. Okay, let me help you tell the story going forward. Now that I know what I know, you don't lead with. All right, let me get this right. Hang on a second. You don't lead with, I was going after her dad's money and I got his debt. You lead with, sweetie, I chose you over your dad's money. And I'm hoping he's worth like 8 million. So it's a good story. So, but it doesn't matter how much he's worth. So, but that's your story. I chose you over his money.
Yeah.
So, 3 kids,
yes,
2 in Florida, 1 here.
yes,
Your daughter, Lainey, a gymnast.
yes.
Tell me she got that from her mother.
I don't know where she
Do you
got
have
it.
gymnast skills? I
I
saw you on the trampoline
I did.
about a
I
week ago.
can
Yeah.
still do a flip.
And you walked in here. I'm very impressed.
Exactly. No, it was just something she picked up. She's been doing it since she was 2. She's been on the travel team with mostly teenagers for 3 years now. She's 9. So,
Is that every weekend?
traveling? No,
Okay.
this is a pretty short season.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like baseball or soccer where it's year round. I mean,
It-
practice is.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, she does private lessons. She's busy.
Oh, yeah. They see you coming with those private lessons, don't they? Well, God, I forgot what I was going to ask you on that last question, but that was so funny about, I know what I was going to. So one of the neat things about joining BNI is you meet not only quality insurance agents like Chris, but you meet a lot of people like Chris who are very involved in the community. Many people in BNI are volunteers for community events. They've served on all these boards for years and years. I know you're big in the community. You sponsor some community events.
Right.
What's the last couple you've sponsored?
We sponsored Metlife was actually one of the main sponsors of the SPCA event
Mhm.
down at the Kokobu Theater. That was a very good event.
And people are coming to adopt dogs.
Yeah,
For
I mean
that?
it was
Okay.
adopt dogs. Big fundraiser for them.
Yeah.
It was a really good
Right.
event.
How many dogs you guys have?
2.
Soon to be a third.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
We've got a puppy, a 70-pound,
Oh, geez.
7-month-old golden. So
How much does he eat?
he eats a lot, and his dad was 110 pounds. So,
Where'd you get him?
a friend,
Okay.
a breeder.
All right. What are the names of the dogs?
Leah and Gus.
For any reason?
No,
Those
just
names they
Gus
came
was-
with?
yeah. Leah was actually a rescue dog.
Okay.
Her and her brother was Star Wars.
Yeah, Luke
Star
and
Wars.
Leia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
it's actually Leia, but
Okay. All right. Because nobody could, the spelling, you can't, I think it's was it Leia? I think Princess
yeah,
Leia.
yeah, hers is
so what a
Leia.
mess.
Yeah.
70 pounds is a puppy.
Yeah.
Lord, he sleeps anywhere he wants.
Pretty much. He moves stuff around. He's
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Without trying.
he's
Right.
a little tank already. So.
Now, does he have a good bark when the doorbell rings and then he just licks everybody and wags his tail?
pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you see 70 pounds.
Yes.
I mean, 70 pounds is 70 pounds.
Yeah.
Whether
Yeah,
you-
and we got the tiled floor, so when he jumps on the couch is like a hockey puck. It
Yeah, yeah.
slides.
all the way back.
Yeah, we're gonna
You have to anchor that down.
exactly.
Okay, this leads into a good question. What extra insurance should we have with pets?
The umbrella. I mean, that's a
Really?
dog bite. Yeah. So,
Okay.
Right.
If you're smart enough to adopt a 70-pound dog, would you as an insurance agent have any sympathy for somebody that adopted a 70-pound dog and all of a sudden they got scrape marks on their floor from their couch?
Well, once again, that's don't go claiming that. And scrapes aren't going to get covered anyway. So
70 pounds. Yeah, that couch moves. You can't, yeah.
No.
Even if you wedge it up against the wall, he'd just start hammering away at the
Yeah,
drywall. Yeah,
yeah.
you'd hear it too. No, that's right. He's up. Oh, 70-pound dog. I like that.
can I say
Oh,
one
man.
thing real quick?
Yep.
I do have 2 other kids. They're Tyler and Kaylee.
Okay.
I couldn't let this in without mentioning
Yep, go
them,
ahead.
So. Tyler's actually an adult as of last week. So 18-year-old
I
son.
saw the picture and I wanted to ask you how it feels to be the shortest Thurow male now.
Oh, I think I'm taller.
I thought you posted he was.
Before I got there, my daughter thought he was, but I still
Oh,
reign.
okay.
over him. And
Yeah.
then- and then Kaylee, she's the middle child, but I'm gonna say this out loud. She's the smartest. So.
Okay.
Um,
Certainly got that from her father.
yes,
Okay. All right.
exactly.
No gymnastic skills, but you're quite
We
smart.
can,
Yeah.
we can, that's the ex-wife. She
Absolutely.
definitely got it from her dad.
Say whatever we want.
And my son got his cunning personality.
There you go. Yeah. Why not? Right? Why not? So, my boys, I became the third tallest manning male about 8 years ago. It's like, really, guys? They start, Dad, and you'll get that here in a little while. Next time you see him, Dad, what's going on? Like, man, I'll knock you down right here. So, I can't give them the mom line. I brought you into this world. I'll
Right.
take care of it. Okay. I'm gonna tell your mother on you. Don't do that though. Insurance agents. You work for a lot of you. There are brand agents nationwide, State Farm, Allstate, all those.
Right.
And then you've got insurance agents.
Right.
So it's a bit different on what you do. Insurance agents, you can call any carrier kind of in the free world.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
there's captive agents in there, and there's
Okay.
like I can shop.
We assume, and I wrote notes down today because I was one of the questions I was going to ask you. Some agents own their own shop,
Correct.
where they would have somebody answering the phone, 2 other agents. What do you have right now? What have you had before? What's the goal for you?
When I owned my old office, I had 6 salespeople at the height of it. I owned the property, but the old company owned everything. Here, I have 1 salesperson. We'll grow to probably an admin, but I want to have a manageable base.
Yep.
That was one of the reasons I moved here. It's all other stories, but yeah, it's just me and my sales guy,
Okay.
and it's so much more comfortable. We're not driven on volume; we're driven more on quality.
Okay.
So
Right.
we have carriers for the volume people, but we want the better quality, the little bit higher value homes.
And obviously, you've got, like anybody in business, you've got numbers to hit.
Exactly.
But you're allowed to pretty much grow your office. If you want to add 2 people by April 1 of 2020, you're good to go.
Oh yeah.
You could do that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. In the perfect world, how many do you have? How many people is that office going to have?
I probably will cap it at 2 other salespeople and
Okay.
an admin.
All right.
I really, that was, like I said, I want to still be in touch with my customers. My old firm, a lot of the agents are always on vacation, which I'm jealous of, but they're not there when the customers. I want to be if my name's on the door, I want to be accessible.
Yeah.
But I also will go on vacation as well.
There you go. Well, you have to, yeah.
But we got Joel for that. Joel's always there.
Okay, good for Joel. In your previous life, your picture, your happy face was on your car, and we would laugh about this. You can't be a bad driver.
Correct.
And have your face on your car.
Right.
And it says insurance agent.
It did.
It's like a double whammy.
It did.
It's like they knew if you cut somebody off, they knew who to call, right?
Exactly. And we never, so 3.5 years. And the day I opened the door, I told my sales guy, which Joel was my first sales guy, there's a bounty on that. First person that can get someone that calls in on my driving, because I thought I was going to get at least 1 a month.
You'd think, yeah.
Yeah. At least, you can't be the perfect driver. And
No.
yeah, we never got a single. I put a couple $100 bounty on it. If someone called and you could
Nobody
sell,
ever called from that.
nobody ever called.
Man, because that was out there. That was well done.
Complaining about it, but I mean,
Yeah.
people called and got quotes. But my thing was if someone was complaining about my driving,
Oh, okay.
and
all
you
right.
sold them,
Oh, I get you now. Okay.
it was more of a fun wager.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know let's just say he's a local signage company owner. Saw him a couple of months ago. I'm like, how come your truck's not wrapped? And he looked at me and goes, we've known each other long enough. I can just say I'm a horrible driver. So that's why he doesn't want his neighbor's face on the trucks.
And Joel's at the beach again this week. See, it's
You need a better employee handbook.
he's been at the beach 2 out of the last 4 weeks.
Is he writing business while he's
Yes.
there?
No, not while he's there.
Maybe we should. Tell him he can have Monday off, but he's got to have 2 policies back.
Okay.
You guys know what's the life of a customer for you? If you do everything well, how long will customers on average stay with you?
Some are lifers.
Okay.
Some absolutely love the companies they're with. I mean, my previous company has lots of those people.
Is there an industry average, 6 years, 8 years?
I mean, with more and more reports coming out telling people to shop every 3
Yeah.
to 9 years, you're getting a little bit less tenure. But I honestly, last week I had a lady with one company for 25 years. She had a $0 claim, one,
Okay.
and they dropped her. So now hopefully she's a lifer. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the referral from BNI too.
There
It
you
was-
go.
Yeah.
Gotta
So
like that.
25 years. So I'm hoping I can keep her happy and stays right where she's at. Because
You
she would have stayed with the other company forever.
okay.
She would have paid the premium.
When somebody calls you to quote, first of all, quote prices from you, and then they like it and they want to come on board with you, do you have to run that through underwriting?
No, we actually pre-underwrite everything. There's
Okay.
no surprises. So at least with Met, we write with other companies, but
Yeah.
we don't, oh yeah, this is your first payment, and then once it goes through underwriting in 2 months, your payment's raised. We don't do that.
How long does it take you to get a client approved?
Um, a day.
Okay.
I mean,
Alright.
it's all electronic.
Yeah. Except for the sheriff's deputies.
Exactly. Unless I mean, I do have some investors with some properties in less desirable areas where sometimes I do have to go take pictures.
Yeah.
Then they have to get manually approved. But other than that,
Basically, though, as long as the company rates are consistent and they follow through with any claims and you're available when somebody calls, in theory, shouldn't be changing much.
correct.
Even with the wonderful commercials on national TV about this, that, and the other, you know? Uh,
Wait, no. And I'm not going to mention names. So we've been with the company for about 25 years up till when I joined BNI.
Right.
And when I joined, Jason Joyner
Mhm.
told me, he said, I need to look at your policies because I'm sure you're paying more than what you should. And Jason saved us over $1,000 a year. And I think, okay, how? Because I went to my other agent and I told him, I said, look, I'm
Yeah.
going to leave, what can you do? He said, really nothing. It went up and up and up and up and up. And we never paid attention. And with Jason now, it's been what, 7 years of it is staying maybe a couple of dollars. But why is this happening?
Inflation. I mean, if you don't really pay attention to your policy every renewal and it goes up 2-3%, it's not a big deal. But 25 years, if it did it every 6 months, so you're looking at 2 to 6%, every year, it's gonna. And there's some flat years. There's some years it goes down. Actually, Progressive's got another rate cut starting tomorrow. So it's just the whole cost of living inflation. They just get it to you.
And if you saw one of your client goes to a competitor
Right.
and getting a much better, I mean, a big time difference,
Right.
you are not in a position to say, I want to keep you, so I am going to.
So that's why I moved companies, because I was a captive agent and I had that happen and I couldn't do nothing. Now I have 12 carriers I can shop. So I can, if Metlife gets to the point where it's too expensive for them, they can do Travelers, Hartford.
So it's a good
Progressive.
thing to change insurance companies every 5-10 years? Is that economic? Maybe not a good thing, but
Right.
economically correct?
I mean, honestly, it's not a bad thing to shop. Now, I'm telling you, I wouldn't go from a great company with great claims records to, I'll say Geico. And everyone, there's probably going to people
Yeah.
call it in saying, oh, I love Geico. I wouldn't go from State Farm or Farm Bureau, MetLife, to Geico to save $100 a year.
No, that's different.
Right.
100, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but 1,200. I mean, then you gotta start thinking. I mean, is it worth the 1-800 number? Is it worth the different claims things you have to go through, the different garages?
Yep.
So
See, those are the hidden things
Right.
that people don't know. You may go to somebody that pricing it may be good, but they're just they do a horrible job on your car.
Right.
I understand when you say that. When you've got a price, it was Progressive, you said, it's about getting ready to do
Another price.
Okay. Decrease.
Right.
Kind of like the airline industry. When Delta comes out and says all of our November fares are this, all the other airlines kind of have to get in line or do insurance, will all the other agencies cut if one cuts?
Um, Once again, our state, um, the companies have to file.
Okay.
So they have to file for the rate cut, and then it's a procedure to get done. So MetLife actually has one as well in October, hopefully another one, but it's got to be put into place. So, and nobody sees those filings until it actually gets announced. So it's one of those, yes, it does eventually happen.
Is that a good thing that North Carolina regulates the insurance agency industry?
Yes and no. We have the facility, and that's a whole nother conversation. So with the facility, a lot of the good carriers we seed, most of our customers are actually insured by the state of North Carolina. You might be serviced by a Farm Bureau, State Farm, MetLife, but you're actually, ceded to the state. Most states, their facilities are 1 to 2%. North Carolina hovers around 50%.
What do you mean facility?
You're actually insured by the state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're just being serviced by your agent.
Okay. Other states, if you wanted to, if MetLife decided next Monday, we're not telling anybody, we are coming out with this rate cut. In other states, they wouldn't have to run it through.
Majority of them, yeah.
Okay.
That's the sad part. We know it's coming in any day now, but in our system, we saw all the states. We get little alerts.
Yeah.
Georgia just had a price cut. This state had. I'm like, oh, please us.
Is that consumer friendly when a company can just decide out of the blue, hey, next Monday we've got a rate cut coming out?
Yeah, I mean it can, because they're gonna get it at renewal. So
Okay.
it's very consumer friendly. Most agents don't like it because their renewals go down, but
Yeah.
it helps, especially someone that's rebuilding a book like myself.
Mm.
I want to see a couple rate cuts. So
Speaking of books, how often does a book come on the market when somebody's getting ready to retire to sell their business?
I'd say there's so many agents out here. It's got to
Yeah.
happen.
Here's the other thing I asked I was having a conversation with Allstate guy with Allstate the other day, just so I understand. You have to be approved by MetLife. You as Chris Thurow to come on board and to be an agent with MetLife,
Right.
you have to be approved. MetLife could hire 100 of you on that same day and flood the market, and there's nothing you could do about that.
Right.
But the numbers won't work. They couldn't sustain that many people.
Right.
Tell me somebody knows who's sold insurance before that's in charge of this says, you know what, 22 people's the number. We're at 21. We're going to do one more, and otherwise you're going to have some unhappy agents.
Right. Yeah, and another reason why I left where I was, there's an agent almost on every office.
Yeah.
Every street corner, and I've heard they're putting 2 or 3 more in Holly Springs. I was like,
but you're able to, because you can write different carriers.
Right.
Now your conversations change with people immediately, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because I know there was, and there's nothing you could do as Chris when this brand is what we charge.
Exactly.
You couldn't even take a hit out of your pocket if you wanted to, could you?
No. North Carolina, $10.
One more time.
North Carolina, we're only allowed to give $10 as a thank you to customers.
Okay.
Or referral partners, but no rebating.
But you couldn't lower their rate just to say,
no.
I'm going to, instead of making 700,000 a year, I'm going to make 400, but I'm going to give 300 back to my clients to keep my clients.
We're not paid enough for that.
Yeah.
Honestly, the other insurance agents wanted us to laugh at that.
The ultimate goal is bundling.
Yes.
You get somebody to write home, auto, and life.
Right.
And that's your ultimate client.
Right.
Could be almost any age.
Right.
But I know that you love people with 15-year-olds, don't you? Because
No.
that means they got a driver coming.
North Carolina, it's 3 years, driving experience. So the first 3 years are gonna be the toughest. We get my office is just west of Morrisville, so even foreign drivers, 3 years, they get a big slap on the wrist price wise.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
remember way back when it was the same thing,
Yeah.
first 3 years. So
And if you don't have the cars
Right.
together, you take a hit.
Yeah, because most companies are going to give you the multi-car discount. So yeah,
In doing some research on Metlife, which one of the things you've already corrected for me, which was a bummer on the defensive driving course, but which tells me things vary state to state
right,
based on what they'll let you do.
right,
There, if you live in other states, there's a 7% defensive driving course rebate or discounts. Like,
right,
okay, that would be good. That's actually smart to do.
right.
But that's another podcast. It's like with the health insurance industry. Why do you pay for preventative maintenance instead of rehab afterwards? Make my knee, But
Right.
anyways, that's another podcast. Up to 15% discount for good grades in high school or college. I would not have qualified for either one of
In other
those.
states.
Oh, another state, not here.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
North Carolina. We should reward our young people for good
Too
grades.
many smart people. They don't
Sure,
know
let's
the
go with that. We'll go with that. So,
Yeah.
I would have never qualified for that.
Right.
My sister would have. My my sister in high school would have. My brother in college would have, and I'd have been one of those right on the cusp. Dang.
Yeah.
Would your kids have qualified?
Kaylee would.
Okay.
Kaylee, definitely.
Okay. Oh, the smart one. Yeah.
the
Excuse
smart
me.
one, Yeah.
The smart one.
She
Okay.
just turned 16, so we'll see
Okay.
how that goes.
Are you able to write in Florida?
I am.
Okay.
I need to. Yes.
All right. Will you be involved in that?
Well, since I'm paying for it, I might.
Yeah. Do you have an ultimate client income, part of town, number of kids, years working, any of that? Is there a wheelhouse client you look for?
So we have Grand Protect. So without getting really salesy, we want the over $400,000 house. We want the custom houses because our dwelling is guaranteed replacement costs.
Good.
It's not a guessing game like HO3. So if you're building a custom house, we have the policy that they want. So that's our wheelhouse. We want the custom houses all the way up to 2, and then I can actually write Chubb Insurance Company for the ultra luxury. So
Ultra luxury,
yes,
which is what?
2+. So a lot of carriers will stop at 1 million. In North Carolina, they won't write over $1 million house.
Really?
Yeah. Some they'll do it on a case by case, get approval, but a lot of them won't go over $1 million.
That's good for us to know, not to buy bigger houses, right?
Yeah. Or you come to me.
Yeah, can I get the second floor insured by you and the
Right.
first floor insured by somebody else?
So yeah, we're
Wow.
really looking. I mean, that's our wheelhouse. New construction. We actually have really great rates on new construction.
And that's the other thing that comes up with other guests we've had on the show, that when somebody's buying a house from a builder, they assume they have to go with everything the builder offers
Right.
them. And that's not true.
No.
They should call you. They should call another realtor, call another home inspector, get somebody that's going to be looking out for them.
Yeah.
Not knocking builders.
Right.
That's their job and they should do that.
Right. And at least have someone review the policy.
Yep. Exactly.
I've got someone that's buying a $800,000 house in Cary right now, and it's got a 1% wind and hail, which you usually see at the beach if they can get wind and hail from the state. But 1%, an $8,000 deductible if they've got to replace a roof, where it should be your normal $1,000 or $2,500 deductible.
Ooh.
So this is why you have help reading through your policies. You don't want a 1% wind and hail in Raleigh.
Okay. Kind of like a lawyer. If you're getting ready to buy a business, you'd want them to look through it just to say, hey, this could, whether you tell them right or wrong, this could be an issue, or you don't need that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Pretty simple. All right, Chris, where can people get in touch with you? What number can they call?
919-267-4188. We
are here with Chris Thurow, Metlife Insurance. If you need somebody, just call him to have him look over your policy.
Yeah.
Couldn't, man, draw a
Policy
blank on it.
review.
Long night driving back from Charlotte last night. Spending time with my grandson, Oliver, who, by the way, is spectacular. Thanks for everybody asking. We found a new way to feed him. He didn't want to be fed in his chair, so I held him while he stood on the counter, and my wife fed him, and he was totally happy to be fed that way, and we're totally happy to feed him that way. So, but give Chris a call. Like I said, if you do anything else, just have him look over your policy. He's somebody local. He's been here. He's going to stay here. Give him a call. Make sure you are covered, because we know, I bet we're 20% smart on what we should have as renters, homeowners, drivers, life insurance, all that stuff. So go give Chris a call. Go talk to him. Go visit his chapter Thursday mornings at 7:30 at Hope Community Church on Buck Jones Road in Raleigh. And we will see you next week on Triangle BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.